The champagne hadn't even dried after the New York Liberty won the WNBA championship when the Players Association announced it would opt out of the league's collective bargaining agreement, which was set to expire in 2027. A dramatic increase in revenues due primarily to the emergence of Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark and other marquee rookies prompted the players to recognize they aren't getting what they believe to be a fair share. The CBA now ends after the 2025 season, blowing up a pay scale that set average salaries at about $120,000, with rookie minimums at $64,154 and veteran maximums at $241,984. Clark's four-year rookie contract under the CBA was for $338,056, including $76,535 in 2024, laughably low numbers given the revenue she helped generate. Clark broke almost every WNBA rookie record, but more impressive was her off-the-court impact. "The numbers are so staggering," said Ryan Brewer, associate professor of finance at Indiana University Columbus, who was asked by the Indianapolis Star to put a price tag on Clark. "They don't even seem real." The numbers, as crunched by Brewer. Clark was responsible for 26.5% of WNBA economic activity for the 2024 season, including attendance, merchandise sales, and television. One of every 6 tickets sold at a WNBA arena can be attributed to Clark. Total WNBA TV viewership due to Clark is up 300%, and 45% of total broadcast value came from Fever games. WNBA merchandise sales rose 500%, with Clark ranking number 1, followed by Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese. The Fever's regular season attendance averaged a record 17,036 per game, and the team's total attendance of 340,715 also was a record. Clark's regular season games were watched by 1.2 million viewers on average, which was 200% more than games in which she didn't play. No wonder the players opted out of the current CBA, with the Women's National Basketball Players Association stating its position succinctly with a video to X that proclaimed, "It's business. We're out." The WNBA signed a new media rights deal in July worth a reported $200 million a year, more than 3 times the current package. However, a question that will be raised during CBA negotiations is whether the surge in fan interest and revenue will continue or abate over time. That's why the WNBA media rights deal pales in comparison to the NBA's new TV agreement with Disney, Comcast, NBC, and Peacock and Amazon. Those outlets will air the league's nationally televised games for 11 seasons beginning in 2025-26, and the NBA will be paid about $76 billion. Clark, meanwhile, is doing quite well financially despite her low salary. Sportico on Wednesday published a list of the highest paid female athletes, and Clark was ranked number 10, just behind Simone Biles. Clark, the only basketball player on the list, earned $11.1 million in 2024. On top of the list for the second year in a row was tennis star Coco Gauff, who made $30.4 million in prize money and endorsements. Endorsements make up the bulk of Clark's income. She gets $3.5 million a year from an 8-year contract with Nike and also has deals with Gatorade, Gainbridge, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Wilson, Buick, and State Farm Insurance. Only 9.3% of league revenues of $200 million in 2024 went to player salaries, according to Bloomberg. That's less than $20 million. Meanwhile, NBA players share 50% of their league revenue, which in 2023 meant $5.3 billion of $10.6 billion. The WNBA have released the 2025 schedule with major changes to its structure, including the introduction of a new in-season tournament. The WNBA has unveiled its 2025 schedule, setting the stage for a historic season with each team playing 44 games, the most ever in the league's history. The announcement also highlighted an intriguing mid-season prize that stars such as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will vie for. Although the 2025 season is still some months away, excitement is building as the WNBA introduces its in-season tournament, the Commissioner's Cup, which will run from June 1st to 17th, culminating in a championship game on July 1st. The regular season will take a break to spotlight this event. The league has confirmed that all intra-conference cup games will count toward a team's regular season win-loss record. A hefty $500,000, £392,000 prize pool awaits the tournament victors, and Coinbase, the sponsor of the Commissioner's Cup, will bestow $5,000, £3.92,000 in cryptocurrency upon each player in the championship game. This upcoming edition will be the fifth Commissioner's Cup since its inception in the 2021 season when the Seattle Storm triumphed over the Connecticut Sun. Subsequent winners include the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty, with the Minnesota Lynx clinching the title last season against the Liberty, foreshadowing the 2024 WNBA Finals. The league has revealed that the opening games for each team will kick off in mid-May. The season's first match will see the Atlanta Dream take on the Washington Mystics on May 16, while the Lynx face the Dallas Wings. The Golden State Valkyries will play their inaugural game at home against the Los Angeles Sparks. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever will start with the blockbuster contest against Reese's Sky on Saturday, May 17, giving fans their first glimpse of Rookie of the Year Clark. After a few long seasons of the story being Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, there is another player in the mix. Although Clark and Reese have been pitted against each other since their college hoops days, it was a newfound thing in the W. But as the Fever point guard made more enemies in the pro leagues, there is one who stands beside her in college stats. And it's not Reese. Admittedly, the two players' positions and playing styles are completely different. While both are strong on the offense, Clark is a scoring machine, along with other duties, while Reese is better with rebounds and assists. But Chicago Sky player Trinity Carter is the one who stands tall with the Iowa sensation, per a recent report. iTalkHoops posted on X, Trinity Carter and Caitlin Clark are the only two WCBB players in the past 15 seasons to average 30 points per game across multiple NCAA tournament runs, minimum of 3 games played. Carter was a Texas A&M Aggies player but was 4 years ahead of the reigning WNBA Roddy. When number 22 was entering college, Carter was entering the W with the Atlanta Dream. While Reese and Clark's on-court enmity has been clean, so to say, everyone remembers Carter shoulder-checking Clark in a Sky Fever game early on in the season. The flagrant foul certainly set the tone for the rest of 2024 as the Indy Star gained more on-court foul incidents. But while none of them have had to do with Carter, the Sky player has fueled speculation online about her drama with Clark, beginning with lashing out on X after ESPN ranked CC above her on the WNBA's 25 best players. The 6' Indiana guard was ranked 15th whereas the Sky guard was at 24th. How I average less minutes and my stats top in the league. But I am at the bottom, this isn't adding up, the hate be so obvious, she wrote. FG, field goal, percentage as well. Before this, Carter had also picked favorites between the Reese and Clark dynamic. 3 guesses as to who she chose. The narrative of Caitlin Clark bringing eyes to the sport with a minimal amount of talent is one that Trinity Carter seemingly supports. Where her stats say one thing, myth players in the league say another. When the flagrant foul occurred in June, the Sky player refused to answer any questions in the post-conference. But she later took to Instagram threads to reply to a fan, clearly not in awe. Beside 3-point shooting, what does she bring to the table, man? Carter wrote. In a different post, the former Texas star had written about teammate Angel Reese, "My dog for show, got all my teammates." Back in September, the Indiana Fever hired Kelly Krauskopf to be their president of basketball and business operations. Krauskopf served as the Fever president and general manager from 2000 to 2018, during which the Fever won 3 conference titles and the 2012 WNBA championship, before leaving to join the Indiana Pacers as an assistant general manager. Now Krauskopf is back with the Fever at an extremely exciting time for not only her franchise but the entire WNBA. On top of the massive growth women's basketball has experienced in 2024, the league is also adding 3 expansion teams over the next 2 years, including the Golden State Valkyries, whose expansion draft results will be revealed on December 6. Of course, other WNBA teams aside from Golden State also have to prepare and make vital roster decisions to prepare for an expansion team. And CBS Sports reporter Jack Maloney asked several WNBA executives how they're handling the expansion process for a December 3 article. Expansion drafts aren't always great for those of us who are trying to acquire a deep bench, Krauskopf said in the article. On the flip side, it's an opportunity if you're creative. Krauskopf mentioned how teams having their rosters picked from must be prepared for scenarios to replace the player who could be selected. She had also traded draft compensation as a method to keep an additional player protected from being chosen during an expansion draft in her previous tenure. So trades involving Golden State are a way WNBA teams could utilize the creativity Krauskopf alluded to. Later on, Krauskopf added this about the Valkyries: the strategy when you're starting off new, you have to think about what's your biggest priority. Is it point guard, center? Everybody thinks differently. Or is it just best player? I'm not in their shoes, but I know they have smart people running their organization. WNBA fans should know by Friday night which Fever players Krauskopf and the rest of the front office likely elected to protect, and which 2024 player will be playing for the Valkyries next season. In a slip-up that split WNBA fans' opinions in half, the league accidentally gave up the name of its upcoming Toronto franchise set to debut in 2026. While browsing the league's website on Wednesday, Hoop fans noticed a drop-down menu listing all current teams and the surprise addition of the Toronto Tempo. The initial discovery was a slow burn that quickly spread across social media, with fans piling onto the site to take screenshots before the league removed the listing. After the section disappeared after a few hours, the damage, excitement, or surprise was already done. Speculation immediately followed, with WNBA fans debating whether the leak was an intentional teaser or an accidental unveiling. Logos spreading online added to the mystery, though fans couldn't tell whether they were official designs, fan mock-ups, or AI-generated concepts. The leak stayed silent throughout the day about the mishap, which fueled even more theories. As they stayed silent, fans wondered if Tempo was a placeholder name, a quiet trial to measure public reaction, or a premature reveal of a well-kept secret. The suspense ended on Thursday morning when the WNBA officially announced the Toronto Tempo as the league's newest franchise in a tweet featuring the team's logo. The design had similarities to the Indiana Pacers branding but with a light blue and red colorway similar to the Toronto Blue Jays. Pacers fans were quick to point it out online. Team president Teresa Resch commented on the misstep, "Well, nothing ever goes as planned. But yeah, we would have loved to have our merchandise ready and be able to roll that all out at once. But we're still really excited to share the name, logo, and colors." One fan wrote, "Interesting name. Excited to see how they support the team. If it's anything like the Raptors, the WNBA has a great new fan base." Another added, "Definitely will be going to a game. Still undecided on that name. I'm sure it will grow on me." A Pacers fan jokingly commented, "Stole our whole flow." Regardless of fan reaction, Toronto has been a prime candidate for WNBA expansion for years and finally became the league's first international team. The name Tempo hints at a stylistic identity the franchise will embrace on the court, according to the team's first press release. In a tweet from the team's official X account, they say Tempo is significant because it's the heartbeat of competition and the unseen force that shapes a game's outcome. For the city of Toronto, the move gives the region a team after 27 years. It took 78 years for the NBA's Toronto Raptors franchise to join the league in 1995, just 2 seasons before the WNBA's inaugural season in 1997. For the WNBA, adding Toronto is just a portion of its greater efforts to expand into several markets within the coming years. The Golden State Valkyries will suit up for its first season in 2025, with a team in Portland expected to join the Tempo. League Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said she wants at least 16 teams by 2028. The league features 14 teams including the Valkyries and Tempo. Several celebrities have inquired about adding franchises to their respective cities. Kansas City Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes is reportedly looking to add a team in Kansas City, while NBA champion Jason Tatum is rumored to want a team in his hometown of St. Louis. Next year, the PA Chamber's annual Women in Business Conference will feature WNBA star Caitlin Clark as the keynote speaker. The former Iowa University star and #1 overall draft pick took the women's professional league by storm in her first season with the Indiana Fever, earning WNBA Rookie of the Year honors, along with first-team All-WNBA status and a selection to the league's All-Star Game. She'll be the main speaker at the PA Chamber event, which will be held on April 3rd at the Lancaster Marriott and Convention Center. From her incredible athletic skills to the team-oriented way she conducts herself, Caitlin Clark is a world-class athlete and leader who inspires generations of fans, PA Chamber President and CEO Luke Bernstein said. We're so excited to welcome her to our Women in Business conference and discuss how she navigates her basketball career, her business ventures, and more, all while prioritizing the charitable work and leadership that makes her a role model to millions. Clark finished her college basketball career as the NCAA's all-time leading scorer and was a four-time Associated Press All-American. She was also a two-time Naismith Women's College Basketball Player of the Year and a two-time John R. Wooden Award winner. Off the court, Clark is making an impact with the Caitlin Clark Foundation, which is focused on youth empowerment through education, nutrition, and sports, the very pillars of her success. The Chamber said that her relentless pursuit of excellence transcends sports and business, as she remains committed to enduring change, both within the game and beyond its boundaries. Additional speakers for the event will be announced soon, the Chamber stated. At the day-long event, attendees will hear from dynamic leaders, forge impactful relationships, and learn how to harness unique talents. The goal is to allow attendees to gain the insights and confidence to soar to new heights in their personal and professional lives. Registration and sponsorships are now available and expected to sell out quickly. Visit www.pachamber.org/womeninbusiness or contact PA Chamber Director of Events and Engagement Una Burke Johnson at upjohnson@pachamber.org to secure your spot today.